through till 11 o'clock. Let's talk longevity. We are here to talk longevity. How do you maintain a business down the decades, through the generations? I got Georges Chage alongside me, the representing Team Virtuzone out of the red corner this morning. Look, VZ's been resilient. It's a company that's been resilient down many years, despite challenges, competition, economies, at the highs and the lows as well. Why is Virtuzone so resilient?
Look, I think it comes down to why is Dubai so resilient as well. And I think there's one key word that comes to mind all the time, and it's agility. Right? You must be able to adapt to the business environment as quickly as possible and be as agile as possible. And the horses for courses. You know, we've gone through the real estate crisis in the mid 2000s. We've gone through, or late 2000s. We've gone through COVID. We've gone through wars, through regional instability and stuff like that. And you must be able to adapt. You must be able to adapt to the environment. You must be able to retool, re-gauge, to be able to survive in the market that you're in. And that's, I think, that's one trait that we find in a lot of the successful entrepreneurs and business people here, is that it's such a fast-changing environment, and they've grown with it, and they've learned to adapt to the changing environment, which makes them very agile in terms of business. And I think that's something that's super, super important, and that's key to be able to survive and thrive in this region of the world.
Well, one brand that has stood the test of time here in the region and continues to do so today is, of course, Ajmal Perfumes. Everyone will be familiar with the name. It's been around for decades, and I mean decades, as you'll hear shortly. Joining us now, third generation Ajmal at the helm of the good ship Ajmal Perfumes. The current CEO is Abdulla Ajmal, who's been kind enough to join us on a Friday morning. Great to see you again, Abdulla. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Tom.
Listen, let's take a little trip down memory lane if we can. Set the scene if you can.
Sure.
Because Ajmal Perfumes, lest we forget, predates the official formation of the United Arab Emirates by some time as well.
Yes.
Take me back to the 1950s and your grandfather's vision.
50s. So, to be honest, there's not a vision to be at that time. It was more about sustainability. It was just providing food for your kids. And that's how most of the businesses around the world, that's how they started at that time. First generation.
Finally, an honest person. Everybody comes up with these big visionary.
No. I don't think most people agree to the fact that they. But nowadays it's different. People are far more exposed, so they have a vision. I want to grow a company. I want to have a brand, etc. But for my grandfather, it was predominantly, excuse me, it was predominantly just to feed his kids. He was a farmer from the northeast of India. It was very difficult because it's only one crop, one commodity, which was rice. So if the rain wasn't right or the right kind of sunshine, then you had a problem. So that's how he started, to be honest. I mean, he dabbled in a few things before coming across a commodity called oud, which was literally in our backyard, but not many people knew about it. So at least in our community, the Arabs were always sort of buying incense and perfumes from India, because in those days it was mostly Kuwaitis and Saudis. UAE, as you said, Tom, it wasn't even formed yet. So they would come for textiles, spices and perfumes. And that's pretty much how it kind of started, Don't get me started on the full story, otherwise we'll be here till tomorrow.
We've got that's the roots of the company. Fast forward from the 1950s to 2025. You're at the helm. Talk to me about balance, if you can, because we're here to talk about what is the secret ingredients to longevity in business. How do you maintain honouring the legacy of your forefathers, grandfather, father, and the other members of the family, but at the same time modernise for what customers want today?
So it should be a very, very, very strong value system. You need to have a very strong value system, which you are able to inculcate in the next generation. So for us, it was the honesty, the quality of products. Just one example, for example, if I had to give an example, my grandfather always said, and that was how inculcated to me with my uncle, who was my mentor, God bless his soul, was the fact that you can increase price, but do not touch your product ever, because the consumer will know at some point or the other. So the value system is extremely important. And in our business, relevance. So you need to keep innovating yourself. The what George mentioned, the agility, and to be able to. And yes, Dubai is the place that really gives you the foundation to be able to do that. So I think I would really put that to these two elements. The fact that we also have a commodity which really is a commodity, so it comes down to trust. So even today, the fact that Ajmal and is synonymous with oud, for example, in the region and globally, we're the biggest oud consumers and manufacturers and in the world. So it's something that comes with time, with consistency, with being and doing the same thing again and again, and reassuring your customer that nothing going to get changed as long as we are doing it. So that's something that has been passed down the generations. And I see my third generation, we've got about 9 of us in the business now. And the same values continue. Now that we're into other industries as well. But I think these values can be taken anywhere, for that matter.
One thing that we see often, Abdullah, is in family business is, and I've experienced it myself. I've worked with my father in the past as a contractor, an MEP contractor. So when the new generation comes in, and like you say, we have to remain agile and we have to adapt to, I'm sure now you're looking at AI and you're looking at the big things that you're supposed to look at. How have you experienced, I'm not going to call it the clash, but let's say the friction with the previous generation? One thing you said is, my grandfather always told me, change the product, change the price, but never change your product. That's, for example, a culture that can be passed down, or values that can be passed down generations. The challenge comes when, one generation is used to doing things a certain way, and then we experience a technological revolution like we're experiencing now, and things have to be done in another way.
Sure.
Tell us a bit about that, the challenges that you faced in terms of that, one, and two, you're telling me you're 9 siblings now in the business. I can only imagine the friction that might happen there. And of course, we don't want you to share these things with us. But maybe for our listeners who are involved in hand-down businesses, sorry, that's probably not the right term, but in generational businesses or in family businesses, tell us a bit about your experience with that and how you've been able to navigate or, face the politics that come from that.
So first of all, not 9 siblings. They're part of the family, cousins. Otherwise, my father would get worried right now from the interview. Yeah. There are challenges. I don't think anybody can say there are not challenges, especially coming from an Eastern culture where typically you are almost told, over a period of time. But I'm very fortunate. I come from a family. So even the second generation were 5 brothers, and they've been very progressive from the beginning. So, for example, typically in Indian culture, one of the kids gets educated, comes back, the first thing you see is get a big office, a title of director, and that's it, right? But no, I had to start from the bottom. So even though I had my education and what have you, literally in the daytime I would do a lot of, let's say, smelling, perfumery training, and the evenings would be sitting in the shops. And then other things as we move forward. So being a family member, the great thing is you are a jack of all trades, and you really, really learn the business overall, even though you've not grown with the business, But the downside is the expectations are extremely, extremely high. Now, in my case, obviously, it was far more different as well because I'm the eldest. And the difference between me and the next cousin is quite a few years. So I always say I'm the 2.5 generation. So I had the advantage of actually learning from my elders, worked with almost all of them, learned a lot from them. So the challenges are working with different personalities. And of course, in different areas.
Just like any business, though.
Absolutely,
That's like,
absolutely. So a boss is a boss, at the end of the day. And if they have a very clear view, the difference is that my family, I can't speak for everybody else, but like I said, I've been very blessed. They always thought about the growth of the business and the family. So, for example, we are probably one of the first people in our industry, definitely the first in the region as well. In 2004, we had a family governance mandate, so which basically makes sure that the business is not affected, even if there are some
Feuds.
sort of feuds within the family, which, alhamdulillah, we've been very, very blessed not to have. So, and with each member of the generation, you learn different things. The other thing which worked for us is also that we're not the typical, you give the chair and run it. So we were trained along the way, and we were trained by different members. Number one, in our family, the father does not train the son or the daughter.
So
that's by rule.
Yeah.
So it has to be the reporting has to be by some other member of the family. Not only that, again, one of the few people where we have bosses which are non-family members. So I think being relevant and really keeping an eye on what is happening around the world and what are the new norms of running businesses and longevity and sustainability of a business has really given ideas. I mean, I'm really proud to say that even though my second generation father and uncles are not educated per se, but they are extremely forward-thinking in that sense.
Switched on, yeah.
Very much.
Yeah.
So they always saw that this is the way to go. And as you moved forward, they took in the inputs that, even when, for example, we are not board members per se, but we are people who can, as in myself, cousins, everybody, we sit on the board and we give opinions. We may not have votes, but our opinions are actually taken into consideration.
That's very, very good. Big happy family, which is the exception, not the rule when it comes to business. So
Sure.
So good for you.
Listen, we could, as you mentioned a little earlier on, talk for hours. Alas, we have, of course, commercial responsibilities. Blame that lot over there at Virtuzone. And, of course, we have guests waiting in the wings as well to talk more. But I can't let you go, Abdulla, with congratulating you on all the success that previous generations, and of course you under your guidance and leadership as CEO for Ajmal Perfumes. It has been a brand that stood the test of time. And looking ahead to the future, I wonder if I could just press upon you for a bit of advice. I mean, this show is all about setting up businesses, but it's also about maintaining and scaling those businesses. For a brand that is steeped in history and legacy and letting time take its time, to evolve, etc., in a generation and in a time where everyone wants instant gratification, they want fast trends as well. What's your one piece of advice, your one nugget of advice to the next generation of business leaders?
I think, again, it goes back to what George said, agility, because today you don't have time to build that the trust, the brand, the values, etc. So you need to be able to. I think it is far more difficult for the new generation nowadays because there's so much more competition and so many more options for consumers that they move very, very quickly. So you need to be that much more agile. And really you need to be surrounded by really, really good people. Yeah. It's very, very important. The days of one-man show is completely over. Yeah.
Abdulla, I'm going to have to be agile now. Thank you. Not before I ask for a little bit of advice. Selling at Dubai duty free, I assume you are?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
I am heading there in about 40 minutes. Any suggestions for gifts today back home to the UK?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the perfumery section has Ajmal Perfumes. So, yeah, that's a good one to go for.
And what would be the best one for my mum? I'm trying to curry favour at the moment.
At the moment, we've launched our latest launch in February called The Untold Stories. So once you get out of the elevator, turn right in the front. Yeah, I got to
that one elevator in Dubai Airport.
That one elevator, Terminal 3.
Bless you. It's really good catching up with you.
Cheers,
again.
Thanks.
Have a great summer. Whatever you get up to over the summer,
Sure.
have a great one.
All right,
really good to have you. Abdulla Ajmal, the CEO of Ajmal Perfumes, joining us live. Up next, a panel discussion with two business owners about building a business that lasts. Want to send in your thoughts? We want to hear you. You can text us on 4001.
This is Starting Up on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With Virtuzone. Be your
Single Friday, 10 through to 11. I've got Big George alongside me. Georges is, of course, in from Virtuzone as well. I mean, is there Is there a secret to longevity, or is there a one size fits all, a one rule that fits all, or is it dependent on the different company and the different company culture?
Sounds like a déjà vu. Didn't you ask me that question in the last segment?
Yeah, I did.
I think it comes back to agility. It's the same, right? I mean, as you have to adapt to your environment.
Yeah.
If you do not adapt, that's the end of you, right? And the environment can be so many different things. It could be the economy, it could be the talent available, it could be the geopolitical situation, it could be the state of your industry, it could be so many things. So what's important is that a business is dynamic, and the way you manage a business is dynamic. You can't have one size fits all for business, like you're asking. One of my mentors throughout my career has once said, I wonder what our company will be selling in 10 years. So what do you mean? We know what we'll be selling. Well, no, you don't know, because things evolve in very different ways. If you had asked me 7-8 years ago what services we'd be selling today, I probably wouldn't have got 50% of it right. And so things, opportunities come up. Good business people will grab those opportunities, will evolve, will not be afraid to get into new streams of revenue, and so on and so forth. So agility, again, it's agility with the people, agility with the industry, and agility with your business.
Let's meet our guests now as we continue our conversation about all things longevity. Tristan Lowe is the CEO of Escrow Made Easy. It is a DIFC registered company regulated by the DFSA to provide custody services under Category 3C licensing. Tristan, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Right, that's what's written on the script, but give us your elevator pitch. What does Escrow Made Easy do?
So we provide escrow services to real estate mergers and acquisitions, angel investing. What escrow essentially is providing custody. So we hold funds in a safe place while there's an underlying transaction happening. Escrow is actually talking about agility. Escrow Made Easy is actually a bit of a pivot from what I originally started doing, which is conveyancing. I'm the first conveyancer in Dubai. I own domain conveyancing as well.
Maybe explain that one, Tristan. What is conveyancing? A lot of our listeners won't know.
The legal process of purchasing or selling property. So we do the contract, we hold the deposits, and then we manage the actual process of transferring property. We've always done the escrow as well, and with the way that compliance is going within the UAE, we moved over into the DIFC, and we're now DFSA regulated. So we're the only fully licensed DIFC, DFSA regulated escrow company in Dubai. And that was a pivot. Like I said, we broke off part of our business and moved it into a regulated industry where we can now provide and be a bit more customer focused. You know what I mean? So we want to really make sure that we're doing the right thing for our customer, handling funds in the right place, in the right way. They're going to the right place at the end of a transaction. Good
to have you as part of the crew. Also joining us is Guillaume Giroux, I should say, get it right, Tom, CEO of Dubai Immo. Also the CEO of Elysée Vendôme Real Estate LLC, which is the #1 French real estate company in Dubai, a man that wears many hats. Guillaume, good to have you with us. Same to you. Explain a little more to the listeners about Dubai Immo, about Elysée Vendôme.
So we are a French real estate company based in Dubai, and our job is to support investors, French investors, to invest in the Dubai real estate market. We help them as well with holiday home services, with rentals, and we really give them a 360 degrees solution for their investment in Dubai.
Guillaume, let's start with you if we can. We're here to talk business longevity. What makes a business last?
So I'm just in the industry for 5 years, but it's been quite an adventure. And for me, the most important thing is discipline with ourselves. Okay, we don't want to go for the odd product that is easy to sell, but might be not the best investment for our clients. We cherish our relationship with the clients, and we really want them to. We have to own their trust, to earn their trust, And for me, it's very, very important. We see some agencies not necessarily working with the same values that we have, and we really stay focused. And yes, so I would say discipline.
And Tristan, to you, I mean, is there a secret ingredient to business longevity or not?
There's so many things I think that play into it. being customer focused, doing the right thing by your customer, especially being in the finance industry, I think is for us number one. Obviously, abiding by your regulators. The regulators actually make it quite easy for us, in my opinion. They have very firm rules and ways that we have to actually conduct business, ways that we have to plan for the bad times, basically. So we have to have capital liquidity ratios. We have to have corporate governance, which all adds up to just making sure that you're in a strong position when things go bad. And they inevitably do at some stage. 17 years of doing the same thing, there's hurdles that come along.
Yeah, and we're going to address some of those as well, because adversity comes in so many different ways. Adversity maybe you've created, maybe others have created, maybe it's just something that's happening in the world. COVID, for example. We'll get onto that and give you some more tools of how to deal with adversity in just a few moments' time. We've got Tristan and Guillaume here alongside myself and Georges, so stick around for part 2 of our discussion on all things longevity. If, however, you would like to contribute your thoughts, your questions, your opinions, you can do so. You can text me now on 4001 or you can WhatsApp on 0487155500.
Your ARN News.
Good morning, I'm Noni Edwards. The UAE strongly condemned the statements made by Israel's minister.
So a little bit of Billy Joel for you on a Friday morning, getting you ready for the weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend, that's for sure, but keep it locked here on Dubai Eye 103.8. You're looking with starting up with Virtuzone. I've got George from Virtuzone alongside me, and we've got 2 special guests talking all things longevity at the moment. Guillaume from Dubai Immo and Tristan from Escrow Made Easy are with us live in studio. Let's talk about adversity, if we can, Guillaume. I mean, we mentioned just before the break there the fact that, adversity can come in a number of different forms. Regional challenges, bad sales, bad culture in the company, epidemics, endemics as well. In the face of adversity in whatever form, how do you keep that long-term focus?
Same also with I think with good discipline. We have to we had some issue during the past years. We had the flood last year.
Yeah.
Like our clients were very concerned about that, but we still believed, of course, in Dubai, and we immediately said to our client that Dubai will solve this issue, and we know that so many actions are already taking place, and we see it around the city. So no, we just say ourselves. And we keep to support the team and to deliver the service to our client. That's it.
Tristan, again, things like that, the floods, I mean, no one could have predicted that. It was a force of nature, call it what it was, an act of nature or otherwise. I mean, can you forecast things? Can businesses forecast or do most businesses fail to forecast?
I think most businesses probably don't have it as their focus. I think really that if you want to stay around for a long time, it needs to be your main focus to forecast and plan for the future. If that is just making sure that you have good cash flow and you're ready for those times, and that's for me that's the most important thing, I think. But I would say
is there a proven strategy to good forecasting or not?
No, I don't think so. I mean, being regulated again, we have very strict rules on capital liquidity ratios, like I mentioned before, and those are there and set in place so that if we do go through that 1 or 2 or 3 quarters of bad sales, that we have a crutch to lean on, let's say.
Tristan, what's an example of a disaster that could happen in your business, for example?
I think the main thing is policy changes. We have to be on top of those. I'm constantly in contact with the Dubai Land Department and other government entities that do those. So we try and stay one step ahead with that stuff, if that's possible. But regulation, policy changes, that's the main thing. I believe if we focus on the customer, make sure we do the right thing, make sure that we always have a good cash flow, we're going to be secure, we're going to be here for a long time. And it's always worked for me that way as well.
Georgie, I mean, in terms of you and the Virtuzone business as well, how do you plan for some of the hiccups of the future?
Look, that's a very good question, and that's probably the trickiest thing to do. There's two things in business that are, in my opinion, for solid businesses or good businesses at least, the biggest challenges. One is managing your cash flow. I always tell people managing your cash flow is probably the most difficult thing for a business leader to do, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your business is. And the second one is absolutely projecting into the future on where, and when I say future, it could be anywhere from 1 month to 12 months to 5 years or whatever it is, on where you're going to be. And the closer you are, or the bigger ability you have to project where your business is going to be in terms of revenue, in terms of, everything, all the different things, the better you will be at managing that business. So obviously we go through a budgeting, like all businesses, we go through a budgeting exercise every end of year for the year after that. And the good leaders or the successful ones tend to be able to get it as close as possible to where it could be, one, and two, stretch it as much as possible to be able to have the biggest growth possible without overstretching your people, overstretching your systems, overstretching all that. Because the worst thing that could happen is that you over project or you over expect what's doable, and then what happens is there's this fine line where you get to a point where people just give up, and if they give up because they can't attain that goal, then that's far worse for you than projecting a bit less. So being able to kind of look into the future or see into the future is one quality that great leaders have, and they should be able to know how to grow the business to the maximum of its potential without overkilling it and then creating the exact contrary effect.
Guillaume, let's talk evolution and growth if we can. From your perspective as well as a CEO, how do you plan to evolve in the next few years?
I think it's a good time to start speaking about AI. I think AI will become a very big thing in real estate. It's gonna give us a chance to deliver a better product. I have a lot of talks with my team about AI. I'm explaining to them that it's not a way to work less. It's really a way to deliver a better product and to achieve more. And I think there is a very big opportunity. We can answer very quickly to our clients at 24/7, which I cannot ask to my agents to work 24/7, obviously. So there are so many ways to use AI in real estate, and I think it's going to be only for the best.
Good to get your thoughts there. Same to you, Tristan. I mean, in terms of moving forward as well, I mean, we've talked about trying to forecast the future as well. What about that plan to evolve as well and stay relevant?
Yeah, so our main focus right now is technology as well. So how we tie in AI, how we build better products for our customers to easily onboard themselves with still having people involved where it's needed as well for the compliance and things like that. Within the finance industry, it's a little bit different than within, say, the real estate industry. We have to be a little bit more careful with people's information and stuff like that. But it's really about building and using that technology to make things easier for our customers, right? There's also a lot of new channels and new policies, different things that we can do within the escrow industry as well. It's quite a new thing in Dubai. So I'll give you an example. There's construction escrow that we're going to start doing as well. So it's just about building processes, working with the relevant departments who, for instance, the Dubai municipality, places like that, working with them and how we tie in escrow with these new kind of verticals.
Tristan, quick question for our listeners. What's your revenue model? What's your business model? How do escrow companies make money? Do you charge for keeping some funds in escrow? Do you use those funds and invest them in some, stable whatever? Or how does it work?
We have upfront fees, which a partial fee, percentage fee, and also an upfront kind of admin fee, let's call it. They're fairly reasonable. I'm not sure if you want to know them, but they're reasonable.
Why not? Let's
go. It's a 0.25% plus 6,300 dirhams is what we charge. So in my
for
opinion,
any amount.
For any amount.
Okay.
Yep. So in my opinion, as a security process, that's a very, very small fee to make sure that something is secure. You know what I mean? And that's really what our job is, to just make sure that money is sat in a trusted place and it's released once a certain transaction is completed.
Got to push you both for a little bit of advice. Two successful CEOs in studio alongside Georges. In fact, three successful CEOs. So
Well, thank you kindly, Tom. Thank you kindly.
But just in terms of future-proofing, I think that's what we've been talking about here. Longevity, future-proofing, staying relevant as well. A little bit of advice to those that are starting up out there at the moment, that are just starting out. In fact, can you tell us, first and foremost, Tristan, how people can get in touch of you and your team to find out more? And then just give us that little bit of that nugget of advice.
Sure. So they can get in touch on www.escrowmadeeasy.com. Should be fairly memorable. That's why we named it that way. But look, I think to keep a business running now, you need to focus on cash flow. You need to focus on the customer, because obviously if you have no customers, you're not going to get far at all. And if you do the right thing by that customer, they will continue to return. Your reputation will grow. I've been in the industry for quite a long time, in the real estate industry, and I hope that I've got a good reputation. I think I do. But I think that's the key thing. So you focus on the core basics, and then the rest will come along. And you may have to pivot. You may have to make difficult choices along the way. But, you know,
Good
you'll
advice.
get there.
Good advice.
In fairness to Tristan, though, every time I do speak about conveyancing or about escrow in the business, his name comes up. So, yeah, you've done a pretty good job putting your name out there at the very least.
Good,
yeah, 100%.
And talking of reputations, great reputation for Guillaume Giroux, who's been joining us as well. Guillaume, same to you. How do people get in touch with you and your team? Best way?
So you can find us on DubaiImmo.com. You can reach us directly from the website. And for the longevity.
What's your advice to those
My
starting
advice is to cherish your clients, because the word to mouth is the cheapest marketing you will find.
Yeah.
And it's the more powerful, because nothing is better than one of your friends telling, okay, I work with this guy, he's the one, you should call him. It's so much better than to be on live television. So that's where my focus is, on my clients. And I know my clients will become my ambassador. And to all CEOs and entrepreneurs, I think that's what they should do.
The importance of word of mouth, George.
Absolutely. I mean, 40% of our business comes through referrals. So it's incredible. Look, yeah, you need to focus on pain points. You need to know what your clients want. For example, for us now, the corporate tax deadline is coming up in September. Everybody must have filed their corporate tax, no matter which company you have, whether it's active, non-active. You're getting revenue, not getting revenue. So we're pushing a lot on that now, because we know that's what our clients need, and most of them don't know it, or a lot of them don't know it, and they're going to get fined big time if they don't. So we're now, we send 1 email, 2 emails, 3 emails. We call them just to make sure to cover ourselves. So if they do get a fine because they haven't filed, we don't, we tell them, look, we tried everything to let you know. So for that, go to taxready.ae and you can get all the info that you need.
So no summer leave for the tax team, yeah?
No, not this summer, that's for sure, because that's probably the biggest summer in tax history for the UAE.
They don't deserve it, do they?
They do deserve it. Everybody at Virtuzone deserves it. We have a great team, Tom. Nice one.
Right, we are.
Nice
we are
one.
going to say a big farewell to Tristan and Guillaume. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your summer. Really appreciate your time today. Thanks to the crew there. We are going to wrap things up with a little bit of Labubu in just a few moments' time. So stay tuned for that. That's coming your way as we play it. The final few moments of this season of Starting Up with Virtuzone.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
With Yas Island Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and